All right, viewers, welcome back to our another episode of the podcast series Young Turks Dialogues by Crobstacle. And today, first of all, we have a very good occasion that today we are doing a 45th episode, and then we have two very special guests with us. One Mahesh and other is Vijayashree. Both are founders of Human Alpha. So, Vijayashree and Mahesh, how are you guys feeling to be on this episode?
Wonderful. Thank you for this opportunity, Anmol. I'm sure it's going to be amazing, this experience of being on this podcast.
Of course, our audience have been asking, like you guys, like they have been talking to us in the comments. They have been talking to us on Instagram, talking about, bring someone who can talk about human resources, share their experiences. So it is going to be an amazing episode. And our audience, I want you to engage on this episode. You guys see it, you guys like it, but you don't comment on it. Do comment on this. So let's begin this episode by first, you both telling a bit about yourself because our audience would love to know. Of course, I will be putting the link in the description for Human Alpha and both the LinkedIn profiles of Vijay and Mahesh. But we would like to hear from you. What is your story?
Okay, a long story of 3 decades in the HR fraternity for me. Being associated with large brands, having led large teams, and also having to interact with from grassroots to C level has actually probably got me here to experience entrepreneurship with Mahesh at Human Alpha.
So how was your from job to entrepreneurship? How was that experience? It
Yeah,
must be
it
because most of our audience they are young entrepreneurs, startup founders, and many of them are from this background that you guys are in. So how was that transformation, Mahesh and Vijay? Please tell.
Yes, the transition has been beautiful, Anmol. Yeah, I come with about 20 plus, 20 to 25 years of corporate experience, which has been majorly into technology. And the last 1 decade has been a lot into talent management, consulting, and leadership development. The transition has been spectacular because whatever we wanted businesses to have from consulting companies and from leadership development companies, we have been able to do that. And to see brands going through change because of our solutions, it's very satisfying and makes us happy and more driven that entrepreneurship can really make a difference. And the fact that we're working a lot with startups and MSMEs, it's very satisfying that we're making a difference where it really matters to the majorly the Indian users.
Right, and yeah, since the startup India ecosystem has come in, I will say like you guys must be doing a lot because even I started when in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. So many young people are like me are becoming founders, and they need guidance from people like you who have been in the industry. Because of course we are young, we are energetic, but we always need someone with the wise mind and experience to guide us out. So our young audience, you got the right person now to talk all the human resources requirements. Now,
Thank you.
you guys have done so much in this industry. Why not you share your vision with Human Alpha? What you guys are up to. One is that you are helping startup founders, but what is the long term vision? You are going on a mountain to climb the Mount Everest, or what you guys are doing?
Yeah, it's actually, I think I resonate with that, and I think it's equally as good as that. Having been with, large brands, I've had the, opportunity to interact with big fours, big four consulting firms. And that's where being on the other side is what I experienced as a void, what the expectations from the business side is, and what is actually not there from the consultant, for consulting firms. And that was where this whole trigger point was, as what do we do to actually bridge this gap? And it was at the right time that I found him, Mahesh, on LinkedIn, and Human Alpha got incorporated. And our vision, our long term vision, is always to add value, to transform people and brands, and to just be a part of their growth story.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Young founders must be relating to this because, of course, you guys, the experience. It is
Yeah.
tough, and but
I
yeah,
would like to add, Anmol, our one line ikigai, we call it, is called as enabling growth and transformation.
okay.
And we do it in multiple ways. Either we do as HR advisors and CHROs, we're able to change cultures, bring in practices which results in scale, which results in revenue, increase in bottom line. And even in our leadership development programs, we are able to change people the way they are. We have built umpteen leaders over the last 3 to 4 years, and that's extremely satisfying. All resonating with our ikigai of enabling growth and transformation.
Wow, that is amazing. Most of these days, when I talk to people, they are technical engineers, but you guys are the human engineers, I will say. You help
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
organizations
yeah.
engineer
Thank
their
you.
manpower. No, that is perfect. And why not you guys tell a bit about picked out the point of Corona. Many of the startup founders who watch us, they started their business in Corona. So, what was the transformation you guys faced? Before Corona, after Corona, in terms of manpower.
Yeah.
I think COVID has definitely been a blessing, as well as probably has enabled us to think differently. So when we started Human Alpha, obviously it was the pre-COVID, and we started in 2019. We started off with a big bang. We didn't have too much to do, and we just took off. The flight was just off. But it was just after 10 months that COVID hit us, like it did everybody else, it hit us also. We had to then pivot into different, ways of working. One is, of course, we brought in the B2C concept to, enable HR professionals, young HR professionals. We brought in the, certification courses. And we also brought in the virtual CHRO, which actually worked very well, and it just took off from there. We were mostly visiting clients and doing work, but with the COVID, it then changed into a lot of remote working, and we were able to connect through technology, and nothing really stopped us. We actually were unstoppable at that point in time. We were there to give solutions to our clients, whether it was virtual or whether being in person didn't really make too much of a difference. So I think the way we transition was really great.
COVID, in fact, was a catalyst, Anmol. It helped us to go global because technology we could leverage really well. And in fact, that was the time wherein we truly went global working with brands across United States and Europe
So that
because
was
we were
a
bridged by
blessing
virtual
experience.
tech.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And even like I would say, we also started virtually. Then we transformed into now we have office, of course. But earlier it was purely all of us. Even my co-founder, he was sitting at his home. I was at my home. कि यार क्या करना है अभी COVID है. Nobody is bothered about anything. Let's start our own business. Let's see what happens. So
Excellent.
many
Right.
people started in
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
So, talking about this after COVID, I will relate one more thing that many of us, these days are facing, that the generation that is coming now into the workforce,
Yeah.
they are giving a lot of trouble and issues. What do you say about that? This is a question that I it just came to my mind because before this starting this podcast, I was talking with one of my senior managers. So he was telling me that this guy, he like the new generation does not understand. So either it's us who are not able to understand, or it's them who are not able to understand. What do you say about those 3 years? That has
Good question.
transformed.
Yeah, I think it is going to be this way because we are going to work or going to be associated with uh, three generations, and I
Yeah.
think the challenges are bound to be there because the thought process is very different. It's not going to be what we were doing 20 years back or 25 years back, and it's just definitely going to be different. One is, I think, to adapt. Second is, I think it's very important to set those expectations. As an organization, if there is an expectation misalignment, I think it's important to set the expectations. But yes, we have to make peace that the generation to come in is going to be totally different from what we are expecting or what we have been in the industry. I think that's something which we have to, embrace as
Yes,
we go
yes.
forward.
Whether it is a millennial or a Gen Z or the new thing is Gen Alpha,
Yeah.
everybody is wired differently.
Yeah.
Everybody's underlying motivational factors are different. Begin with open conversations. Understand what motivates each other. Find a common ground in terms of expectation. These are the expectations. And as Vijayashree said, once the expectations are clear from both the sides will adapt to what style works for each other. But the common thing is the common expectation which we both need to align with, we can continue to work with all generations, and 3 to 4 generations will continue to work together in the coming times too. And it's about how we adapt with the
Right, right.
times.
Adaptability is the key thing, and I think
Yes.
this majorly comes. It starts with the leadership, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It starts with the leadership and what you set as an expectation, what you set as the culture of your organization. That's very important from the leadership team.
Got
Absolutely.
it. So why not you guys tell what how about the leadership roles at Human Alpha? How do you divide them? How do you guys are able to do this?
Sure, sure. Okay, so this is where it's very interesting. Vijayashree Venkat is a seasoned business HR leader with close to 3 decades of experience. And my recall is technology and operations for 2.5 decades of experience. Coming from different backgrounds, and we have built our forte and our credentials with these respective specialities. And that's what we walk every day at Human Alpha as well. Now, Vijayashree being a seasoned HR leader is an influencer. Today, she's an influencer in the retail HR world and anywhere in the HR fraternity. She has a strong recall as an influencer, and she is a brand of Human Alpha. So, naturally, when she has a strong brand recall, she becomes the natural marketer as well for Human Alpha. So, that's the strongest role she plays as a marketer, as a brand, as an influencer, and the go-to person for HR strategy, CHRO solutions. I come from a technology background. I used to code and do project management, come from a strong tech and process and operations background. So my forte is solutioning. I create solutions and ensure that solutions are implemented with a clear projectized, process-driven, analytical way. And that's how we hold our fort with any brand, any CEO who works with us, that it combined people, process, culture, and technology comes together with us both coming together. And CEOs know uh, when to go to Vijayashree, when to go to mahesh.sheshadri.
Got it, got it. So you are the one who runs the wheel, and Vijay is the one who markets it.
Influencer. She is an
Okay.
influencer.
She influences it.
Yes.
Got it, got it. No, this is amazing. So like as you are more into, first I will come to you, Mahesh. As you are more into operations and tech,
Yeah.
how the startup ecosystem is. Operations tech, it is just a mess in startups. What do you suggest to our startup founder community, what they should be doing to streamline things a bit? Because that is what very common question that startup founders ask, that my operations are not smooth, everything
Yeah.
is a mess, technology I don't know. So just give the throw some light on it. We will have an idea from your experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a great question, Anmol. The most important thing which startup CEOs, founders need to invest on is people.
People.
Because it's people who create either your product, which is going to scale and you may become a unicorn. Have the right people, invest in bringing on board the right people in the first 1 year. It includes even your co-founders, right? Co-founders and your first team has to be the A team who will develop the greatest product for you. And once that has been brought in the first 6 months, build strong processes. Normally, startup CEOs delay putting processes. They wait for 2 years or 3 years for the processes to come in, and with that, they continue to do things in an ad hoc way for a very long time. So
Right.
processes need to come immediately within the 6 months to 1 year timeline. So people and process will be the core. Then bring in the technology focus, and of course, based on this people process, your culture gets formed. So that should be the focus. First, people, process, and your culture naturally falls in place.
Got it. That's how you build a awesome culture.
Yes. So the culture is dependent on strong people and processes. Yeah.
Noted. This we will highlight in the podcast, because this is something that even I started building processes after 2 or 3 years, what you just said.
Yes.
And most
Yes.
of the people do the same, because I've been this in startup community, I've been talking to people, so they say processes ko baad mein dekhna, pehle jo hai wo kar lo bas. So but I now realize, hearing from you, that you have been growing so fast. So why you
Absolutely.
have been growing so fast? So one
Yeah.
of the major is
If
process.
you recollect, I did emphasize on technology because technology is a given in a startup.
Right.
Right from day one, technology is part of it. But the part they ignore is this part: people, process, and culture. And culture
Right.
is
They
a
get so
combination
much
of people and
into,
process.
they
Yeah.
they forget about it.
Yes.
And of
Yeah,
course,
Yeah.
adding. Adding to Mahesh, Human Alpha was just started by the two of us. At that point in time, it was just the two of us. There was no need, also because COVID hit, and then there was not anything much happening. But as soon as we started scaling in terms of, I mean, client acquisition, the first thing which Mahesh and me did is invested in people. And we brought in processes. So at Human Alpha, we are very small. We are just a 7 to 8 member team. But what takes precedence is people, process, and of course, which is then in in combination building the culture at Human Alpha.
Absolutely. It's a mantra, we would say, Anmol. Having
No, it
worked
is
with more
a
than 50 startups,
yeah.
having worked with more than 50 startups in
Yeah.
these 5 years, this should be the mantra. Build a culture based on people and process. It
No, I
stays.
think this all
Yeah.
makes sense because
Yeah.
I've,
Yeah.
even a few of my friends have been startup founder. They, without any thought, just kept on hiring, 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 and
Yeah.
when they found out their expense sheet is now they are in loss just because
Hmm.
they have, like you guys, you have been growing so fast with just 7 to 8 people. So that
Right.
is something that is commendable. And of course, Vijay, from your, I would like to hear more on how you have been influencing the world about human alpha.
Yeah, I
We
think with this 2.5, 3 decades of work experience, Anmol, what's actually brought together is understanding a lot of business challenges. My last stint as a business HR, leading around 1,500 to 2,000 people, and a massive workforce, and spread across different states in uh, across South India. I'm very I understand the business challenges of the CEOs or at the moment the startup and the MSME space. So actually, I take pride in saying that with this experience and the wisdom and all of that I bring to the table is being able to coach them, make them understand how these business challenges can be looked at as opportunities, and how we actually resolve in going about resolve these challenges, business challenges. Yeah.
got it. No, this is interesting. Now, as you are talking about challenges, why not you tell to our audience one of the, I will say, of course, everyday startup face so many challenges, but,
Yeah.
few challenges are like, they are very hard to, come by. So what, challenge, tell us one or two challenges you faced like this at Human Alpha for your clients or yourself that, that can enlighten our audience a bit. It could be about business
Good plan.
impact, business issue, or HR innovation, anything, like just a challenge, because we startup founders love to discuss challenges because we are every day living in challenges. That's why.
Yes, I think
We'll share
challenge.
about a client. We'll
Yeah,
share about a client. Yeah.
challenges is a part of life, and I think it's amazing to face these challenges because that's where the strength is. I
Right.
believe in that. I would like to probably talk about one of our clients. It's a US based client. It's a fine jewelry client. They got in touch with us around 2.5 years back, and they were small, not knowing how to scale up. What are those strategies to be scaling up in terms of people or process? So they got in touch with us, and what we saw is that a clean slate was given to Human Alpha. And it was wonderful to actually be drawing on that clean slate, putting in all of those, processes and all of those HR strategies, which is required for an organization to be able to scale up in terms of maybe revenue, in terms of maybe people, and ultimately leading to greater business you know and so we put in everything for this client, and today every single employee is aligned to the goals of the organization. They know what is there in the system. They know what is to be done when there's a challenge. We brought in our HRIS. So all of this has already been put in place. They had nothing in the initial stages when they actually got in touch with us. I think that's where Human Alpha adds a lot of value for the client.
We
Yeah.
brought structure into
Yes.
chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, this is again something that should be, put
Yes.
it as a
Yeah.
line of the
Yes.
episode, because
Structure into
Yes.
chaos.
being a startup founder, every day it's just struggle, struggle,
Yeah.
struggle, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
chaos. But you put
Yes.
structure, and most of the startup founders after 2 3 years they have been trying to do that.
Absolutely.
So I think
Absolutely.
this is
Right.
something amazing. Why not you tell about a few innovations happening in your field? HR is something that is AI has also come into the
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
There are so many things that are happening, and of course we discussed about Gen Z, Gen Alpha,
Hmm.
millennials. Everyone are now working, and every generation is different. Now kids are 7 8 years, they are that old, and they know how to use mobile phone better than us.
Hmm.
True.
So just tell about the innovations and the futures upcomings.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll begin with the innovations which we brought in at Human Alpha, okay, which has been paramount to our growth. Unlike any other HR consulting company, which we don't like to call ourselves as a HR consulting company, we are not that. We are more an ROI based HR advisory company.
Yeah.
So, which is extremely process driven. All our projects are process driven, analytical driven, and the difference is we are not people who just give pretty presentations and strategies. We walk with the CEOs by handholding them in terms of execution. Now, this is what makes us extremely different and quite. It's actually an innovation. It's in itself in the consulting space, wherein an advisory firm brings ROI for the client, and ROI could be increase in revenue, increase in customer acquisition, increase in productivity, or building a great culture which can transition as a great place to work. So, being an ROI focused advisory firm and highly execution focused has made us enter what we would call as a blue ocean in the advisory space, and it's something which cannot be replicated, Anmol, because not many companies get into execution, not many companies can promise an ROI, and that in itself is an innovation. And how we drive this, we leverage every current trend. We greatly use technology, analytics. Automation is at the fore of all our solutions. We ensure that every organization we work with, technology is brought in and all the processes are automated. So, for example, HRIS is one thing which we implement in every organization so that they go paperless, and the accuracy is higher because human errors can be higher when you do it manually. And through automation, we're able to reduce errors and do things faster. So, technology plays a big role, and of course, analytics makes our solutions very more accurate, futuristic, and decision making is much better. And this is something which we would recommend for people to embrace technology and analytics.
So analytics is the core of everything. Like in digital
Yes.
Analytics.
marketing, I keep on telling this, but now in HR, this is new for me. Like even I
Yes.
haven't thought about using analytics to monitor my manpower or anything. But of course, this is something that is very
Yes.
valuable.
To
So
just give you a brief thing,
yes,
there is analytics from the start to an employee life cycle. We can measure how good your onboarding is. You can measure how effective your recruitment is. You can measure time taken for people to become productive. You can measure who is going to leave the organization and go. You can predict it actually. And you
so
can
like
also
this
measure
AI
why people are
solutions
leaving and going. All through analytics.
all through analytics.
All through
Yeah.
analytics.
And
Yeah.
is there any integration of AI into this, or it's just you?
Yes, it's depending on the HR platform, because every platform is different in terms of strength of the AI. We normally recommend platforms which have the AI functionality integrated in it when we work. Yeah.
This is
Some of our
interesting.
clients have actually seen great value
Yeah.
in analytics, and some major decisions have also been taken
Absolutely.
with the HR analytics. So I think that's something which every HR young professional today should actually be looking at, how they can add value, contribute to decision making at that level with HR analytics. I think that's
Absolutely.
very important as an element.
The future of HR folks is that how well they embrace technology analytics apart from HR foundationally remains the same, but you need to adapt to the trends. Bring in AI, bring in analytics, bring in technology. And that's when a HR professional adds value to the business.
Got it, got it. So now, like in digital, because this is a totally new perspective for me.
Mhm.
And now I know that, in digital, I always keep on telling my team, you need to analyze, but in HR also it's the same.
Absolutely,
Data,
Absolutely.
absolutely,
that is
absolutely.
why, I think they brought in the term data is the new oil. I
Yes,
was initially thinking it's just for marketing, but now it's even in HR as well. So it is a
Absolutely.
pretty interesting perspective for us. And also, like, I will ask one question. So let's say as you are working with a lot of startups. So in startups, let's say some high level, some CEO or CFO, not the CEO, of course, he is running the company, but some C-suite executive or some high level person goes away. So how do you help that startup to get someone onboarded that can fit in that role, because it is as many of the startup founders they face. Initially they started as 7 guys, and then they are 5, and
yeah,
then that 2 slots are empty, they are struggling with it. So how you guys help in those situations? Because this is something I also keep on talking, because Uttarakhand is a very raw community right now.
right.
Here there are a lot of startups budding, so I keep on talking to different people, and this is one of the questions I get to hear. Ki, I started with 4 people, now I have just three, and one part is empty, but my company is on, so I cannot even shut it down. I need How do I figure to fill that position in? So how do you guide startups in that kind of a situation?
Excellent. Yeah. So this is a common solution from Human Alpha, because when we work with startups, we also help in building their C-level team.
Okay.
Not exactly through recruitment, more in terms of attracting. Okay, for example, a CEO has a vision and will need the right co-founders, which could be the CMO, COO, CFO, CHRO, right? CIO and everybody else. A CEO can't go around hiring, but when the CEO is able to position himself or herself in terms of their vision of the organization, they will be able to attract the best people to join hands in terms of living that vision and purpose. So we work along with the CEOs in terms of building that brand value to ensure the right people get to make conversations with the CEO. And sometimes it's all about conversations, coffee conversations, and everything else. Meet as many people who align to the vision and purpose and who are just not there for an exit. Do not choose co-founders who are there for an exit. Choose co-founders who are there to live your vision for a long term, right? And that way you can build a great team. As I said initially, also high focus on people in the first 1 year who are aligned to your vision, and we facilitate, in fact, in helping the CEO make these conversations, because we ourselves have a strong recall in the space, and that's how we help brands get the right C-level people, or sometimes even the leadership team.
Got it, got it. That is a really good perspective on it, because
Yeah.
most of the times, generally when startup founders start, they start with their friends, family, or someone they know,
Yes.
Right.
and in that even I faced it. Like most, many times the person that you have gotten in is not the right person for that
Yes.
job.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is interesting. I think this can help a lot of startups.
Alignment, focus on alignment. People who are focused and who are aligned to your vision, they will stay with you for a long term.
I think the
So
same has worked for us.
Yes, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
that's what has worked for both of us.
right, yeah, 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 yeah. Both are sitting here on the call.
Alignment,
Yeah.
Alignment.
alignment
Yeah.
to the vision.
So vision should be clear and mission should be clear. Many
Yes.
people,
Absolutely,
they don't just focus on it; they just get
yeah,
into the business of, and they say we are into the business of making money. But I think first you need to get clear on vision and mission, and then what you're delivering to your clients, and then all of these falls in
yeah.
place.
True.
Absolutely,
True.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because a startup journey is never smooth. There's never too many rosy days. In fact, the more number of
Yeah.
days are hard days. And the only thing which will help the C level or the leadership team of a startup together is alignment to a common vision and purpose. And it's not the money we earn eventually, it's about the experiences which we create together. And the alignment is what will make the team stick together and, of course, scale with time. But alignment is the most important thing.
Alignment. I will highlight this word in the podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
Very
Anmol.
important.
Yeah, it's important.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, Vijayashree and Mahesh, just tell me one thing. How do you, as we are seeing so many transformations happening, you told about AI and all of those things that you're doing right now. But what about the future? How you guys are looking at the future of HR? What things you are, in marketing, we are talking about AR and VR coming into the picture. We are implementing that. AI is there. But what about HR? That this is something that, I think most of the people watching this episode will not know. So, what do you think about that? What are the upcoming things in HR?
I think going way back to starting my experience around 30 years back, HR was just looked at as somebody who hires people, who probably processes salary, and that's it. It was just limited to that. I think today, for every HR, it's important to understand the business. I think that's the way forward. Understand the business, talk the business language, walk along with the business. And that's where in the last, decade or so, this entire business HR partnering and this role has emerged suddenly, and people have started having certifications around it, and all of that is which is happening. I think that's preparing every HR young professional to actually take the challenges as they go forward. So it's very important to collaborate along with the business, walk along with the business, and understand, so everybody is aligned to the goal of the organization and they accomplish it, rather than saying HR is just to be doing this and the organization, the operations is walking in a different stream and HR is walking different stream. I don't think that's something which is going to work as we go forward. Even today it doesn't. As it goes forward, it's going to get more challenging. There has to be an intersection somewhere for the business and the HR. I think that's the way forward for every HR.
Future of HR, people in the HR, in companies like Google, they call it as a people operations. So the future of HR is people driving productivity. HR will drive productivity, HR will drive revenue, HR will drive the growth of the organization, because they are the people who know well people, culture, and how well all this has to be aligned together. That's the transition HR will be making. They will drive the growth.
Got it, got it. Yeah, till date in books, it just what you said in the start. HR means like hiring, firing,
Yeah.
all of these things. But this is something new because till date, even we at Crobstacle have hired a few HRs in the past, and they just come with the mindset our job is to do this, but we are just going over with it. But I think as everything is transforming, this should also transform. And what
Yes.
do you suggest in terms of our HRs who are looking, and startup founders who are looking at this episode, to them in terms of as because many startups, what they do is they hire the freshers or upcoming generations, who are new in the market, so what do you suggest them to build a culture with them, because it is very hard to make a new person. Of course it is easy also to mold them because they are very new, but it is also somewhere hard to manage them, teach them, because basics of these kids, I will say, are not clear to work professionally. I will give you a case recently what happened with one of my friends. He works in the hotel, so he was telling me his general manager was sitting in front of him, his super boss was sitting in front of him, then his boss, and then him, and then this guy who has just joined as an intern in this big corporation. I can't name that company because they will sue me somewhere because I'm
Yeah.
telling insider information. So this guy, he gets a call from his girlfriend, wakes up in between the meeting, says, "I'm not coming to office for the next 2 days because I'm not feeling well. I'm just going away." He does something like this and just he leaves the office.
Okay.
So crazy things are happening.
Okay.
Even I
Yes.
recently at the office faced a very crazy situation because, of course, with this new upcoming generation. So these kind of situations keep on coming. So this guy, he said me that our office is very serious. You should put a bed here.
Oh,
Okay.
Crazy, crazy
okay.
thing
Okay.
for startup founders, because I never heard any office with a bed. Of course, some startups have kept it, but
Yes.
for me, it was something new. They want to sleep there as well. So
Okay.
it is going to be crazy. What do you guys say on that?
I think adapting to the new world is important, but yes, I think it has to be definitely limited. Amount of fun is required. A collaborative culture is very necessary for even whatever generation we are talking about today to be aligned to the vision and mission of the organization. A collaborative culture is very necessary. So newer things have to be introduced, adapted. But yes, definitely, as an organization, we will have our limitations, or the way we want to actually run the organization. So we may want to look at what's going to work for the organization rather than looking at how do we adapt everything. Everything cannot be actually done. So I would look at it in
Yeah.
an open mind to see.
I would like to add one parallel world example, and I think this should be for all startup founders and enthusiasts and future entrepreneurs. This story might help you all. Netflix as an organization has a very strong principle. It is called as freedom and responsibility. Freedom and responsibility.
Right.
Freedom and responsibility. So if a startup is working with a very young person, probably 18 years old or 20 years old or any age, and who believes fun is necessary, please allow fun to happen. Please allow freedom also to exist. If they want to work from home, they want to have a vacation somewhere in Goa or somewhere they want to have a vacation and work, please give it. That's the freedom part of it. But at the same time, give them responsibility. Clearly communicate that I'm going to give you freedom, but at the same time, you're responsible. Freedom
Right.
and responsibility. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to give you all the freedom that you're looking for, but you'll take responsibility in terms of outcomes. It has to happen on this day, and there is no negotiation to it. You will not negotiate in terms of output, you will not negotiate in terms of performance. However, I'll give you freedom, but outcome is non negotiable. And I think that's where I think startups, as we continue to work with new generations, this thing which we learned and we highly endorse from Netflix is something I think the future startups in India and globally should really embrace, giving both freedom and responsibilities. And say freedom comes with responsibility. And I think magic will happen that way.
Absolutely. And I think the new generation wants that.
Yeah.
They want freedom, and given a responsibility, I'm sure there are, they're very ambitious.
Yeah.
The new generation is so ambitious. They want it. They want to take the responsibility, want to be able to prove and actually achieve something. So I think freedom with responsibility is a
Yeah.
great culture.
Yeah.
No, I think this is something because even my senior managers, they keep on telling me, let's go to Kasol, we will work from there for a week. So, this
Yeah.
is something that is now
Yeah.
because our most of the people who are working with us are in the bracket of 20 to 25. So all of these are young, they want to travel, they want to also work uh, because you need to pay your expenses while traveling. So I think this is something
Right.
very clear, and also like work from home. This has all now become a very new thing,
Yes,
Right.
work
right?
from home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
most of the people that we talk during interviews, they tell us that 15 days we can come to office, but 15 days we'll work from home because we want to stay with our family
Mm.
or whatever reason might be. So
Right.
this is also something I think very important that companies should
Yeah.
adopt, because now slowly and steadily I'm seeing that businesses have started giving this since now offices are open, so people are
Mhm.
focusing more on that you come to office, like it's they are forcing that.
Yes.
So I think that
Yes.
hearing from you guys, I think that is wrong. Rather, we should give them the freedom but responsibility, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Perfect.
Absolutely. That's adaptive.
Got it. So in terms of we have talked to our startup founders audience. Now, what about in terms of those students who are now transforming and getting into their professional journey? What do you suggest? Let's say today I am a graduate and I want to get into the HR industry, HR field. So where do I start? What do I do? Because there is no or good resources in terms of this, because I know many people in my family who are struggling and not able to understand what they should do, where they should go. So what is the initial steps that they should do?
I think coming from experience, I could say, to these young people who really want to begin their career in some way or the other, begin by doing anything. I think that experience is what is going to take them a long way. We should not be at a point where we are choosing that this is what I'll do or this is what I will not do. That is something which will actually limit your learning and will limit your growth also. So, how I started was do anything and everything and then choose. After 2 to 3 years, your focus should be on what you really want to be and what do you want to, achieve in your career or your goal. Your career goal should be defined by yourself. So I think not making choices in the beginning is something which the experience will teach you, and I think that's the greatest learning for anybody. You should just dive in and take those, challenges, take those opportunities where you think, you can really do something with that limited knowledge or with that limited education also. That's my actually advice to young professionals.
Awesome. Got it.
Yeah.
Anything from you, Mahesh?
Yes, see, like I started out as a tech, as I said mentioned before, and in the last 10 years, it's been greatly into talent management consulting, and today co-founder of a HR advisory company. So I've seen HR from the other side, being on the tech side, business side, seen HR people, and over the years I've seen how the transition of HR has been made. And Vijayashree is a very strong HR professional and influencer who has been there, done that along the way for decades actually, and taking her as an as an idol. In fact, I think every HR professional in the earlier years they should start anywhere. Some people are shy of doing recruitment. Don't do that because recruitment is an opportunity to connect with people. People should not be shy of doing payroll work thinking it's only number crunching. But no, when you do payroll management, you get to understand business, you get to understand P&L, right?
Right.
So some people say, okay, working on a SAP system means limits you to technology. But when you're creating HRIS, you get to understand business model, you get to create business workflows and analytics. No matter what part you start with as a HR professional, there is a bigger thing you learn, right? And that's what people need to do, and they should be open to probably changing, learning new things. Today you're a recruiter, to maybe tomorrow you may be into payroll, day after tomorrow, year 3 you may be into HR business partnering. Take everything that comes along the way, and that's how you build yourself as a true business HR partner, because your knowledge and experiences would be holistic. You would have spoken to people across levels, right from the fresher to the C level, by taking up all roles. The people who stagnate are the people who have made very hard choices that they won't do this or that.
Yeah.
So that's why whenever we see people even after 15, 20 years stagnating in mid-level management, we are actually seeing people with a fixed mindset, people who are resisting change, and that will never take them anywhere.
Change is a must.
Change is a must, growth mindset is the necessity to continuously grow and make a difference.
Awesome. Sounds good. I think you guys have given so much value to our audience, and before wrapping up this episode, because to our loyal viewers who have been watching us to this mark, it's already 44 minutes that we have been doing this, and I didn't saw the time because it was getting so interested to talk to you guys. Would you like to give any advice to startup founders, or our audience altogether who has been watching this episode, like the golden nugget for them? And also after that I would like both of you to tell them how they can reach you out, because many founders, they are facing this. So
Yeah.
anything before wrapping up?
I think each one of us, whatever profession we are in, we have to be upgrading ourselves.
Upskilling.
And yeah, and upgrading with the newer trends in any field is, I think, the key for the success of the person in any role which the person is, playing in the organization. That's the way he or she looks at the way they have to grow. in the organization, actually it carves a path for them to be able to, make their career in some way. So that's my advice. Upgrade. Learning never stops. Learning should be every day out of experience, and maybe do something to maybe read books, maybe listen to podcasts, and you learn something new, and that's something which you need to adapt in life.
Yeah. And well, Vijayashree has shared her intent or advice for people. I would like to take up a few thoughts for startups. Any startup who are probably going to grow in the coming times, never start your startup to become unicorn. That's not your ultimate intent. No, you need not become unicorn to realize your dreams. When you start your startup, journey, it's actually you're looking at an enterprise. In the first 1 to 2 years, focus on great people. Have your culture in place in the first 2 years. Your vision, mission, purpose, values should be in place in the first 2 years. Have a great team, and this team will build you a great product. And this has to be sacrosanct in the first 2 years. Do not unnecessarily get into a VC or an angel investor until this is put in place. Until your culture is in place, do not look for an investment because your vision is going to get diluted. Your passion will be taking a back seat because you will have to meet several other needs, and that's going to dilute your own team which you have set put in place. Your own vision will get diluted. Your product will get diluted. Go to an investor at the right time when you need to really scale, not to build a startup. When you need to scale to achieve a greater dream, that's when you need to take investment.
Absolutely.
And I think that's clearly not understood by many startup people, right? And that's the reason why startups die. Out of
These days, it's more
100
of a funding game.
out of 100 organizations which take up VC funding, we know the hit rate. It's because their vision would have got diluted, the CEOs would have got burnt out, the team would give up due to pressure. And we don't, and we, since we are highly invested, Vijay and I are highly invested in startups and MSMEs. We want to see as many organizations succeed and grow and sustain. It's not about radical growth, bubble bursting. No, grow incrementally, make a difference, build great organizations, build great cultures. That should be the focus. And I think every startup CEO build great cultures. That's where your passion will stay for a long time, and you'll love entrepreneurship that way. That's our common advice for every entrepreneur out there.
No, that is perfect. I think
I
we
think
have.
entrepreneurship is like having wings to fly. So I
Yeah,
think everybody should experience that
yeah,
rather than being put into a cage where you don't know where to go, and you have your focus on not the right things. I think that's
yeah.
so important.
So we can be,
Perfect.
yeah, we can be reached out. Our website is
Yeah.
human-alpha.com. We are called as Human
Can
Alpha
put that
Strategic
link down in the
Solutions.
description. Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are Human Alpha Strategic Solutions, ROI based HR advisory and leadership development company, which has been formed to make a difference to startups and MSMEs, majorly in India and of course globally as well. And we are always there to make a difference to you, no matter what size you are, whether you're 10 membered or 100 membered or 500 membered. We're there for you with solutions customized for you, irrespective of the industry and domain you come from. And we can be reached out at our email IDs,
I will put the
vijayashree.venkat at
Yeah.
human-alpha.com and mahesh.sheshadri at human-alpha.com. We are always there.
Yeah.
Reach us out.
You can also ping us on LinkedIn.
Yes, we can always
Yeah.
connect us directly and we will be happy to support you.
I will put the emails, I will put the website link, I will put the LinkedIn links down in the description. You guys can always reach out to Vijay and Mahesh. You have heard them speaking. You can directly be in touch with them. And I will say, claps for you guys. You guys shared a lot of information that is so necessary for these days for startup founders to understand. Even I personally have learned so much from you in these 40 minutes. So amazing, talking to you, Vijayashree and Mahesh. Thanks for being on this episode. This is one of the best episodes I have done till date. 45 number. That's why I was suggesting you initially that let's do the
Oh,
45
thank you. Thank you so
episode
much, sir.
together. Yeah, because it's a milestone for us as well today. And
Yeah.
so thank you so much, our audience, for watching in. You can reach out Vijayashree and Mahesh, and thank you so much, Vijayashree and Mahesh, for being on this episode and sharing all your insights. We will be uh, back soon with another episode. Our audience, do subscribe to the channel. Do be in touch with Vijayashree and Mahesh. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section, and we are always here for you. Thank you so much for watching in.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Anmol.
Anmol.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.